Hello, my name is Jorge Zhang, and I am the owner of Smoothride.com. Smoothride.com is the best way to find a safe carpool. Smoothride.com matches two people with similar routes so they can carpool together. Introduction. Carpooling is cost-efficient, environmentally friendly, and time-saving. So why don't people do it? The main reason is because of safety and flexibility. People just aren't willing to carpool with a stranger. Here are some facts. Only 10% of people carpool in America. In the United States, a car is driven about 12,000 miles each year. And drivers who use Smoothride.com can save up to $6,840 per year or more with multiple passengers. The world consumes about 30 billion barrels of oil each year. This is the same amount of oil that would be wasted if the Gulf incident happened 6,331 times a year. Features. Smoothride.com offers an advanced search bar that allows you to search for drivers and passengers. Therefore, if you're a passenger, you can look for drivers to drive you, or if you're a driver, you can look for passengers to drive. This way, you will not waste time looking through unrelated results. Mile Points is a unique system to Smoothride.com. Every time Mile Points are worth the amount of money that it costs to travel 1 mile. However, since miles cost about 57 cents to travel 1 mile, and 10 mile points are worth 55 cents. This means that the passenger is getting more than what they would usually pay. This is an incentive for passengers to drive or carpool. Then once a driver drives a passenger, they get mile points according to the distance that they traveled. So the driver gets mile points, which he can either exchange back into money, and in which the company will make a 5-cent profit, or become a passenger himself and use the mile points. Security and flexibility. Security is a big issue, especially when you're talking about carpools. That is why Smoothride.com background checks through a valid driver's license so that they can make sure that there are no serious driver infractions. There's a driver rating system that rates a driver from 1 through 5 stars, which means that, and you can leave a comment too, which means that drivers or other passengers can view a driver's rating and decide whether they want to carpool with them or not. Smoothride.com has mile points instead of taking turns. This means you don't have to take turns in order to carpool. Instead, you can pay mile points. This means that you don't have, Smoothride.com matches by route. So when you input your starting point and end point, Smoothride.com matches or draws a route for you. This means that you can pick up passengers along your route and drop them off along your way. This is a serious issue with other carpooling sites because they only match it up with start point and end point. This means that Smoothride.com or other websites are eliminating about a large amount of the drivers or carpools that are possible. Finally, there's a big selection of users. This means that passengers can decide between multiple drivers. My main target is young drivers. This is the age group from 25 to 45 years old. The reason why I chose this group is because according to Tugo, another company, or carpool company, they did some research, and apparently that young drivers are more likely to carpool than older drivers. Through social media and billboards, I will be focusing most of my efforts on marketing. The reason for this is that younger drivers spend a lot of time on social media. Also, billboards in traffic, during high traffic, can provide incentives for people to carpool. My competition is mainly Lyft and Tugo.com. The reasons for this is because they both offer supreme security and that they are profit organizations. In other words, the other generic carpooling sites that are out there, other than Lyft and Tugo.com, they do not make a profit. Also, they do not offer any security, so the little users that they have do not have any security. Lyft is a service that acts as a taxi service, so they will manually background check drivers. But the only problem with this is that since drivers are paid directly in cash, they must pay the insurance does not work. Therefore, they have to pay the insurance themselves, which is the reason why it takes a lot of money to run. ToGo.com, on the other hand, has a limited target market. This is because they only target big and large corporations, because the corporations make sure that the security is high. In other words, the employees of the corporation will be able to carpool together to get to work. However, they do not have a big target market. This is my estimates on my financials. Since I am rolling out in Illinois, there are 8 million drivers in Illinois, and Smoothride.com makes 5 cents for every mile that is driven. Cars travel about 12,000 miles per year. My estimates are that every user will travel about 2,000 miles per year, unlike the 12,000 miles per year that they drive anyway, because they're not going to use Smoothride.com all the time. And the number of users that will be on my site is about 1% of the 8 million drivers in Illinois, which would be 80,000. And finally, my estimated revenue is $2.1 million a year in Illinois. Questions?
How do you manage, like, you didn't really talk about your flexibility a lot. Say you have to cancel, how would the transactions be canceled, or would the driver have to work out in between off the website?
There's actually a terms and conditions that when you register, there's a terms and conditions that you sign that cover the consequences for being late to a carpool. Well, which are like account suspension or like removal of mile points, something like that.
Even if like you fall sick or something, or there's an accident, there would still be a penalization on the carpool?
Well, if you got sick, then you could cancel the carpool ahead of time. So if you're not able to cancel in the certain amount of time, then you will face the penalties. However, you can't cancel the carpools.
Another question, Trish?
So what counts as being late? Like, let's just say I'm 2 or 3 minutes late. Then would that be be a penalty, or what's your idea of late?
It's up to the driver to report you. So if you're late, like just 1 minute late, they're probably not going to report you. So what they'll do is they'll call the company and say, oh, this guy is like 30 minutes late, so then they'll hand out the penalties. But if they don't call the company, then the company doesn't know, nothing happens.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is this going to be like mobile? Like, is there going to be an app for it, or is it only going to be like a website?
For now, it's only going to be a website, but in the future, there will probably be an app.
Nice job.